Contrary to popular belief, according to recent compelling data, NFTs are actually far from dead. And on top of that, mainstream companies have definitely been trying to move into the space regardless. However, something that has changed is that smart money seems to now be funneling into some of the top projects as opposed to being spread out over a bunch of seemingly random NFT projects. And so for today's video, I'm not only going to show you some secret non-mainstream hacks for identifying winning NFTs, but also step by step how you can profit from NFTs both in the short and long term. And by the way, for a quick disclaimer before we start, this video is not financial advice and NFTs are extremely speculative, so that you should definitely not spend any money that you're not comfortable losing on these sorts of assets.
Of course!
And with that, let's jump into the video. And with that, for step one, which is identifying winning NFTs, let's actually first get into an example of an NFT project that I found, and it's not through some of the mainstream methods like through OpenSea or Rarity.tools or any of the other popular NFT search and announcement websites. And the project in question is Genesis, the Girls of Armament, which as you can see is indeed on OpenSea, even though I did not, as I mentioned, discover this on OpenSea. And this is only very recently listed on the platform, which means people who were actually savvy about this actually knew about the project way before it was even listed on OpenSea, giving them an edge in terms of getting into the whitelist and form minting and so on and so forth, right? And by the way, in case you're not super familiar with how NFTs are minted and distributed, generally speaking, when a project first comes out, before even going on sale on OpenSea, which is sort of a secondary marketplace where users are trading against or with each other and buying and selling, right? When the project owners first release their NFTs, and there will be limited quantity, right, being 10,000 for this project, they will have a process called minting, which is the first creation process of the NFTs, right? And generally speaking, the minting fees, not counting some of the gas and competition fees where users are sort of bidding against each other to mint these projects, are generally a lot lower than, depending on the project of course, but in this case, the mint fees are indeed a lot lower than the even lowest price in Ethereum on OpenSea. So again, what I mean is if you're able to get on the whitelist and be able to mint one of these 10,000 Girls of Armament NFTs before being able to sell these on OpenSea, you would have been able to profit roughly the difference between the mint fee and the at least the floor price of these NFTs on OpenSea, right? And floor price means the lowest current selling price or last sold, I believe, price of each NFT in the project. There could be some that are higher. Floor price is just the lowest one. So that's definitely a way to do some arbitrage and perhaps make some money through that process, right? And that's just one way to make some money with, you know, high profile NFT projects that are really high in demand, like this one, right? Despite, again, a lot of mainstream media or some mainstream media claiming that NFTs are dead. But some prominent projects such as this one has actually been extremely popular. For instance, if we actually go to the mint page of Genesis, the Girls of Armament, we'll see that all the NFTs were minted really, really quickly. And not only that, but the whitelist and also the waitlist were just completely filled, and not only filled, but overflowing, which means that a lot of people weren't even able to get on to the waitlist and the public minting for that matter, which means there's a lot more demand than the 10,000 NFTs that were minted initially, and thus creating this price difference and a higher price because of that demand than the mint price, manifesting in this higher floor price on OpenSea. And now taking a quick step back to how to identify some of these promising projects on, say, social media, and then getting into some of the minting process and so on and so forth. Let's first jump over to Garliera. So this is the artist's name, Garliera. I had been following him for quite a while now because I'd seen a lot of his artwork in various places. Which means that this artist does in fact work on mainstream projects as well, right? Mainstream being sort of high profile, popular projects like Cyberpunk 2077, which is a video game, very popular, and also like album covers and other things. In fact, we can actually look at an interview that was done with him, and we'll see that he, at the time of the interview, which I think was last year, he worked on artwork for many different gaming companies and other types of projects, like Tencent was like the largest Chinese gaming company, which, I mean, they don't just do gaming, but they also include gaming. And then Capcom's another huge company in Japan. They did Resident Evil, which if you play video games or watch movies, you probably have heard of. And then also Riot Games, they've done artwork, or he rather has done artwork for League of Legends, which is another very, very popular game. And some of the accolades goes on, right? So this person is definitely a very high profile artist. And thus, one of the ways, by the way, that I try to identify a winning or non-rug pull, so to speak, long-term appreciation NFT project is if the people who are involved, the people who are starting it, have something to lose, right? Such as their reputation. Obviously, Garliera, he's an artist. He's done lots of mainstream projects. He's still been doing that. He still wants to do that moving forward, and thus his reputation is at stake, right? So they have an incentive to make sure that this NFT project does well as a result, right? And thus the artwork that they do for the projects are going to be of a high standard, right? Actually, these are some of the previews of the artwork that are going to go into the Genesis project. So there's different attributes, like with a lot of NFT projects, they have different equipment in this case, headpieces, dresses, weapons, and so on and so forth. And there's even been collaborations with others like celebrities, for example, like Grimes, popular music artist. She's also gonna have a version of her featured on the Genesis, one of the Genesis NFTs. So by the way, we look back to OpenSea, we'll see that the official artworks of each of these individual NFTs has yet to be revealed. That's why they all look the same, right? But in, I believe, a few days, they're still preparing for this and they're updating on Twitter and Discord, and I'll get to those platforms in just a bit. But by the way, because the reason that these projects all look the same, or the images all look the same, is that they haven't yet revealed, they haven't yet done the generation or basically converted their existing NFTs into the actual individualized traits, right, for each NFT. So that's yet to happen, but it will happen very, very soon. And there's already been a lot of previews of the NFTs, on their social media pages and whatnot, right? Like some of the ones we see here, and also a lot on Discord, which is one of the main platforms that they're conducting a lot of the NFT related events, giveaways, whitelist spots, and so on and so forth. And so again, when it comes to finding a high potential NFT project on social media, you can first of all try what I did, which is follow lots of different high profile artists that you generally think produce good artwork and may need to maintain a reputation for that, such as Garliera here. And one good place to start is to look at related pages to this page. For instance, if you just follow any page on Instagram, it'll actually recommend you, right after you follow, lots of different similar pages, right? So you can start from there, look for other artists, NFT projects, and so on and so forth. Another way is to look at Linktree, which is, if we click on Garliera's Linktree here, it'll open up other social media pages and whatnot, which you can actually check out, like his Twitter. So through Twitter and also through Discord, which I'll get into again later, I found out that some of the other projects that this project collaborates with. So this is actually a thing where certain NFT projects will collaborate and help promote other NFT projects. And for example, for Genesis here, they actually feature some artwork from other sort of adjacent projects. And that's how I would find out about, other projects, right? And here's some NFT stuff with like music and whatnot. But anyway, if I scroll down, this might not be able to, okay, here we go. So if I just scroll down, we'll find this is a Genesis type, Genesis style, Garliera style artwork done on another NFT project that they're collaborating with. It's called Ession Club. So this is just another project that's also upcoming. So they're both featuring each other, right, on their respective projects as, an individual NFT. And Ession Club can definitely be another up and coming project that could do well. But just to make sure, you want to look at the artists that are behind it, the other producers and whatnot that might be producing this project and also are collaborating with it to make things like merch or music or a game or whatever it is. Generally, I don't really trust like the gaming aspect, but Garliera here with Genesis, they're doing stuff like if we look at their website, they're actually doing stuff like physical figures for their NFTs. And it says here that Genesis NFT holders will have perks, and they're actually doing lots of different things, which is cool. They also have like very high profile music artists that are doing music for them, which is awesome. So one of the things that is important for picking a sort of long-term, if you want to invest, for example, NFT, is sort of accountability. because if we just look at everybody that's involved, they're clearly, showing who these people are. And these are all people who have, again, reputations to uphold, or companies, for example, the companies that are making these figures, they all have like their own reputations to uphold, right? Because they want to continue selling figures or music or whatever it is, right? So definitely that's a sign of a project that will be continued to be developed moving forward, which is a great sign for the longevity of a project. And once you've identified a potentially winning NFT, especially early on, you'll want to definitely try to get onto the whitelist so that you can not only mint the NFT and obtain it early on, but also get it for a much cheaper price potentially, right? Compared to how much you'll be able to then sell it if you want to, or you can just hold on to it on OpenSea. So let's again look at Genesis as our example. So we just jump over to their minting page, which is this page here. We'll see that the mint price for the public minting, by the way, this is waitlist, but it was the same price for a public minting. It was 0.2 Ethereum per mint. Now, some of the gas fees could have bumped this up a little higher. However, if you got in earlier, even before the public minting, which is sort of like for people who have participated in contests or supported the artist for a longer time, they got priority. So that's another way to, or another opportunity to potentially look out for if you want to get a head start or your foot in the door to some of these whitelists, right? To be able to mint NFTs cheaper and earlier. So what I mean is some of these early access users were able to mint the Genesis NFT for even cheaper than 0.2 Ethereum. And by having a spot on the whitelist, that means you're guaranteed a mint should you, obviously pay the Ethereum fee, right? So by the way, one way to get into the early access whitelist this is specific to Genesis. Things might, slightly differ for different artists and projects, but this one here as an example is, so Garliera has their own Patreon, which by the way, the link is on their Instagram page through Linktree. But anyhow, if you are a Patreon supporter or had been a Patreon supporter, which is sort of a paid subscription that gets you some, perks like original images and tutorials and whatnot. I actually did Patreon myself for my other YouTube channel, but anyway, I digress. So early supporters of Garliera through Patreon were granted a spot on the whitelist. So that's definitely one potential way, potentially for other projects as well to look out for, especially if you really want to support the artists, right? Patreon is generally for artists and, other types of creatives that you really like and, well, genuinely want to support. And again, if we look at the price difference here, it's 0.2 Ethereum. And again, early access users had it even cheaper versus the floor price right now, which is 0.663 Ethereum, right? Which is like triple 0.2 right here. So that's a very significant amount. Once these NFT artworks get revealed, the prices might change again, right? The floor price might actually get lower, which means some of the more common traits on these NFTs might be worth less, right? Obviously, but also, the floor price can be deceiving because even if the floor price drops in that the ones with the common traits go lower in price, the ones with the really rare traits, right, the super rare ones will definitely go up and potentially skyrocket in price, right? So that's definitely another aspect of NFTs to look out for. But anyhow, looking at Genesis here, one way to definitely follow getting on to any whitelist, and this doesn't just apply to this NFT project, the same is generally true for most if not all sort of non company based NFT projects or sort of private releases by individuals, is through Discord, which is a free app, and it's also there's a browser version as well, but I recommend getting the app on your phone plus like the software on your computer. But anyway, Discord is one way where NFT projects basically make their announcements, announce giveaways, schedules for minting, and so on and so forth. If we just take a look at Garliera's Genesis project here, the schedule that was just released, this is very recent, right? May 11th, 2022. The minting schedule, as you can see, was pre-mint was, this is pre-mint, this is for like super VIPs who actually were able to claim the NFT for free plus any Ethereum gas fee. And day 2 was May 12th, which is 0.1 Ethereum, right? So it's a lot cheaper than the public sale, which was zero point 0.2 Ethereum, and so on and so forth, right? So the mint list, the pre-minting, mint list, and whitelist, again, different projects might do it slightly differently, but it's very important to pay attention to Discord for how exactly they do it and how to actually qualify for each stage, right? So this is especially to get to one of these like stages, early stages. These are generally reserved for like early supporters and whatnot, right? And they also do contests as well. So just stay tuned for the announcements on any of the Discord channels for not just Genesis, right, but for other projects. I also have another example, which is the Ession project, which is the other project that collaborates with Genesis that I previously talked about. You can also go to their announcements page, for example, just to see, you know, what they do. They're doing music, they announced their collaboration with Genesis, and so on and so forth. But generally, you want to pay attention, especially close attention to the announcements tab on any NFT project's Discord page, right? Because they'll tell you exactly how they're doing, you know, anything that they're doing, right? Including minting, you know, when the artwork will come out, other project collaborations, and future plans for each NFT project, art previews, for instance, if I just scroll through these, what some of the NFT traits will be, how rare some of the traits will be, which ones will be thus more valuable, etc., right? If I just scroll to the bottom, this is just right after Genesis has been released, they actually laid out some of their long-term plans, including how they plan to distribute their funds, right? Which is another good sign of, you know, transparency and accountability and sort of the longevity of this project, in my opinion. But again, you know, a lot of this is speculation, but some projects will definitely be better than others, again, in my opinion. And one other major step to point out when it comes to especially either minting an NFT or buying or selling one on OpenSea is that you have to have an Ethereum or, well, crypto wallet, depending on which type of crypto you're going to be paying with. Generally, it is Ethereum that is compatible with the project, right? And so generally speaking, MetaMask will be your go-to choice. For Genesis specifically, there were several choices, MetaMask being one of them, and also Coinbase wallet also works, and I believe there was another one, but I just personally use MetaMask. So for this, and also the same is true for the other crypto wallets, is that you have to download the Chrome extension or whatever browser that you use. You get the extension. As you can see, I have MetaMask installed, and if I just open it up here, I have some Ethereum in my account, and this is just so I can have, you know, some Ethereum ready in case I want to do some buying and selling on OpenSea and whatnot, or do some minting, right? And the reason I have this money stored, or this crypto rather, stored on MetaMask is that something to be a bit careful of is if you want to, for example, mint an NFT and there's like a deadline that's coming up like in a few hours or really soon, sometimes when you want to transfer Ethereum from somewhere else into MetaMask or whatever wallet you have, it might take a little bit of time to process, especially if you're transferring from another, say, website like BlockFi or Coinbase or Celsius to your MetaMask account or your MetaMask wallet. Some of these websites might take a bit of time, say like one business day or whatever, to actually process a transaction to transfer over the funds, right? Generally speaking, if you're just using like wallet to wallet or something that's not like hosted on a website, that might be a bit faster, but just be wary of that, which again is why I have the money sort of prepared, or again, the crypto rather prepared beforehand in my wallet in case sort of, you know, I have to wait that time and then miss out on the window for minting. And that is pretty much all I want to cover in today's video. Let me know if you've identified any upcoming NFT projects that you think has potential, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.